Welcome to the Idea Climbing Podcast. Today, we're discussing how to get focused and get into flow states to achieve more in less time. My guest is Peter Wishnie. In his younger years, Peter purchased a medical practice, and after 1 year, he made more money than the previous owner did in any one of his 17 years of ownership. Peter has been in business for over 33 years and has made multiple seven figures for 30 consecutive years, landing him in the top 1% in his field. During those years, he has learned key secrets that have helped him work a lot less while growing the business year after year. In 2022, he sold that business for $2 million more than he paid for it. The reason he sold it was mainly because his passion is now to help other businesses learn to have the life they so deserve and desire. Peter believes people become business owners or leaders not to be slaves to your jobs, but to have the freedom to enjoy your family, hobbies, and friends. Peter wants to help you live your best life. We dive into topics including the definition of and examples of flow state, or being in the zone as athletes call it, how to maintain focus once you've gotten started, the benefits and rewards of getting yourself into flow state, the one thing above all else that you need to do to get focused and into flow state, and other golden nuggets of advice. You're going to love this show. Peter, thank you for making the time to be on the Idea Climbing Podcast. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Mark. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And we're going to talk about how to get focused and get into flow states. And I love the idea of flow states. They can be a game changer for business, especially with entrepreneurs. But before we get into the tips, the strategies, the tactics, and all that good stuff, as far as getting focused and into flow state, what is your story? How did you discover that in your life?
Great question. And you know what, Mark? Um, I'm far from the expert of always being focused. After every video, I say, stay focused, my friends. I get that from that beer commercial, stay thirsty, my friends. Stay
Nice.
focused, my friends. And it's because it's hard. We're constantly getting interrupted. I don't have ADD, but as I'm getting older with that whole cell phone, iPhone, everything, just getting buzzed. I'm on fantasy football leagues and all, just constantly getting bombarded with messages, and I try to get them off. It's so hard. So I'll tell you the answer to that question. So when you're younger and back in 1989, I started my practice. I'm a podiatrist, retired now, business coach now. By the time 1989, purchased my practice, never worked for anyone. Well, I didn't have a desktop computer. Okay. So we didn't have cell phones, anything like that. So easy to be focused. No interruptions. The phone rings, which was a great thing if as a business owner you want that phone to ring. But that's it. But now with all the interruptions, um, it's harder. But this is something I've learned, and I've been doing this probably since the mid 1990s. I love to study. I love to listen to people. I'm a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, but I purchased a Franklin Covey planner back probably it's probably the early 1990s, and I wrote down my goals for the year, exactly what I want to achieve, and I knocked them down to about what I'm going to do every single month, which then makes it easier what I'm going to do every single week. And there's that great book, The One Thing. Okay, if you
Yep.
never read it, it's The One Thing. It's I think it's Gary Keller, right? And you just focus on the one thing. But then I switched to a Michael Hyatt full focus planner, and I write down the three major things I need to accomplish every single day. And I could combine a whole bunch of books because I've read a lot of books on this. Eat the Frog,
Oh my
right?
God, Brian Tracy.
Brian Tracy, Eat the Frog. It's so true. If you can just take care of the one thing that you are avoiding, the one thing you're avoiding is the thing that is probably the most important thing you need to get done. You have a list of 20 things to do and you knocked off 19. Some people love to cross things out every single day. I did this, I did that, but it's that one thing. And it could be writing 500 pages in your book, right? And so you do that one thing, the other 19 really don't matter. So figure out what the top three things you must do. Also dividing your time into like going back to Stephen Covey, the big rocks. What's important in your family, your relationships, your health, putting those things in first. Oh, we have a business to take care of. Sure, we do. But if you don't take care of these other things, take care of yourself,
Hmm.
vacation time, health, building up your energy levels, you're going to crash sometime during the day. You might wake up totally fogged up, just like your brain's all fogged. And because you're just not doing the right things to take care of yourself. So imagine having all that energy. When you have all that energy, you can go longer during the day and the day goes faster because
Hmm.
you're just full of pep. So I think it starts with that. How did I learn to do this? It's because um, as I'm talking to you, I'm coming up with a real answer, and it came from medical school.
Hmm.
Now imagine, Mark, you going to college. I don't know about you, but in college, you always have that few hard classes, but you always then sign up for some like BS courses like history of rock and roll, by the way, I took.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm taking physics and chemistry, right, with that as a pre-med student. And by the way, that history of rock and roll music wasn't so easy because the professor's a music PhD from Harvard, took it really serious, and I had to go to music lab, and it's like I don't have time for another lab, but whatever. So, but the bottom line is it wasn't so like hard. Then you go to medical school. Every single class matters. Imagine saying one class didn't matter in medical school. Like, you know what? I'm gonna skip anatomy. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna go,
exactly.
right. So you have about six classes. And I had a hard time my first year in school. And I took out a book called How to Study. And from that it became how to organize, how to focus and then how to schedule. Focus, it's more like it's about really knowing what you want to do that day and
So
stay on that.
with what you just said about with what you want to do that day, if someone's listening or watching and they're, for lack of a better word, I'll say they know they're scattered and they could get better. What's the starting point? I'm scattered. I'm gonna start doing something. Where do you start to get focus?
Great. Pull out a piece of paper, a journal or something, write down everything that's on your mind. Everything that you think that needs to get done, or everything that's bothering you. And not even that, just bothering you. Just write down everything, just journal. Then figure out like, okay, you can divide um your life into a pie. Like I said, health, relationships, friendships, finances, business, relaxation, all that. And then what do you want to do in each of those areas? What are your goals? And just pick one little goal that you want to accomplish the next 90 days. Just one. Like maybe you lose 10 pounds. Okay. Maybe you write a couple of chapters in a book, right? And then whatever your work thing is, um, for me as a business coach, for me it's very simple. And when I owned a business, the same thing. Let me know your KPIs, your key performance indicators. What are the top KPIs for your business? And then I don't know about the people you've been speaking to, Mark, but I find a lot of healthcare practitioners don't look at their numbers, don't even know what numbers to look at. And when they do, they look at it monthly, and it's like the 28th of the month. And now you realize you can't pay all your bills. It's too late.
Mhm.
So you look at your numbers every single week and even daily, certain numbers, but weekly. So we graph weekly numbers. I know which numbers are going up, which numbers are going down. And then we go, okay, why did it go up? Why did this go down? That tells a story. And then it tells me, hey, the problem here is that I don't have enough new patients. So that's the number one focus. Okay, the collections are down, production is down, but it's all coming from the fact that you don't have enough new patients that bring in the revenue. Okay, so then you look at the new patients. How do you get new patients and focus on the marketing the next 90 days, or at least the next 30? So that's easier. But if you don't measure anything in your business, you're just scattered and you have no clue where to go.
So once you get some focus, what's the next step? Okay, I got some focus. I'm looking at the numbers. I know what I'm starting to know what I'm doing on a daily basis. What's the middle ground where you maintain focus? Because I would imagine it can be difficult. And I've experienced where I'll have just that day. I'm in the zone, I'm rocking it, or that week. And then, there's a dip. How do you avoid this roller coaster ride of focus? Once you get focused, how do you keep it?
How do you keep it? You have to give yourself a break, you know. You just take the time. They say that maybe you should work 50 minutes on something, take 10-minute break, then change gears to something else. Like for the next 50 minutes, you ever heard of the Pomodoro effect?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the clock for 15 minutes or
yeah, like
something.
the red, it came from a red tomato timer, right? So the Pomodoro, so then you set it. Some people say just set it for 25 minutes and stop for 10 minutes, whatever is best for you. But you can work on 50 minutes, stop, um, you know, do a couple push-ups for like 10 minutes or or just take a break. And I wouldn't start surfing on your phone. Okay, but I would just take a break, walk around, move, get away from your desk, okay, and then move on to something else because you get tired on that one thing. So move to the next thing. I know it's hard to work on 4 hours straight on one project if you have multiple projects you want to get done. Um, but then just sometimes we I'm going to do so much today, and that's bad. Just try to just get a little bit done and do it consistently every single day. You'll get more done that way. And the best analogy I have for this is cleaning out your garage and you like put it off, and then one day say, you know, I'm gonna do it all today. And then you get exhausted and it doesn't really happen. But if you like moved one box every single day, at the end of 30 days, you just cleaned out your garage. Better than just putting it off for like
Mhm.
months and months and months, right? So just be just give yourself a little pat on the back for just doing a little bit, getting you closer to your goal. Like today, you ate better. Okay. Great. Tomorrow is a new day. We're going to just continue eating a little bit better every day.
Well, now we hit the next level. Could you explain in your world what is flow state?
Flow. What is flow state? I probably don't have the scientific term for that. There's probably a scientific definition for it, but I think we all been there. It's like when you're just so present. Like for example, right now, like I'm present here with you, listening to you and just knowing and just having a conversation, staying focused. And I have to remind myself sometimes at a party even that I'm talking to someone and then a lot of things are happening and it's easy to get distracted from someone. But once you like connected and involved, and you just constantly all of a sudden you just know when you're writing something, it just flows out of your head into your pen, into your typewriter, into your keyboard, into the screen, and just you just go and just nonstop. You know, athletes know about this. Athletes they say I'm in the zone.
Hmm.
Okay. And when you're in the zone, it's like, you know, and this is what athletes say, and it's so true in business too. Um, you slow down the game. You ever heard of that term, slowing down the game?
Oh, yeah.
Letting the game come to you. The same thing I say, in order to speed up, you need to slow down. When you slow down and you're just in a calm, nice, calm environment, it's easier to be in that flow state. Right? We are like, I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done. You know, it's like you wasted all this time, but now I gotta get it done. And some people think they work great, just like, cramming everything, like when you cram for an exam, right? Um, it does work but it's so hard to cram a lot of information in your brain at once. Your brain needs to, as you're getting older, trust me, I need time to absorb the information. That's why I don't like audiobooks. I prefer to read. I'm not a auditory learner because I'm listening, then I'm thinking about how I can apply the material, and they're on like chapter 13 by the time I'm finished. Awesome.
So once you realize you're in, well, say that in flow state, or once you realize you're in the zone, what can you do to stay in the zone and not get knocked out?
Oh, um, I, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think anyone is anyone like constantly in the zone? I mean, there's time when you're not in the zone. I don't think you can be constantly in the zone. I even think Kobe Bryant, which I admire so much, and Michael Jordan, who like definitely in the zone, but they take time to for them play some golf, they relax. But when it's game time, that's when you're in the zone. There's a great book called Relentless by Tim Grover. And when you just know it's game time, and for that short period of time, that's all you have to, you can't be focused or in that zone 24/7 or the 16 hours that you're awake. You need to be in the zone for short periods of time and then take a break. But be in that zone, be in that flow. When you're in that flow, just stay in it as long as you can. Then know when you have to take a break, and I'll come back to you just after that break. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But we are very hard on ourselves, and we just we don't do things and then we just get all pissed off at ourselves. And I think we shouldn't do that. I think it's okay to definitely just relax, read. Sometimes, when you sit and read, ideas come, and those creative ideas come when you're most relaxed. But then when those ideas come, immediately just start following through with that as soon as you can. Like, oh, that's a great idea for my next blog, for a video. Okay, write that down, get the notes done, and if you're in the zone, just then go for it.
Well, getting in the zone, it could take some work to do it. So what would you say if someone's thinking, yeah, but I don't know, that sounds like a lot of work. What are some of the benefits of getting into the zone? What kind of rewards can you reap by getting yourself there and staying there for even if it's 20 minutes? What are benefits of being in the zone?
Oh, you're going to get closer to whatever you want to accomplish and achieving your goals. That's the main thing. Um, you start off that question with basically almost like, how do you get in that zone? You could wake up in the morning and just say, I don't have it today. I don't feel it. Okay, now there's a difference between the superstar and the not superstar. Everybody has those moments, maybe a lot of those moments. I just don't feel it today,
Mhm.
but you have to just start. And once you start, all of a sudden, it's just like maybe 20 minutes in, could be half an hour in, it's just working. It just flows. You have to start getting your brain into that creative mode. And like I said, just writing down your thoughts, reading something that pertains to what you want to do. Okay, but um, just start. It's the same thing about, like, I love the gym analogies. Waking up in the morning and don't feel like going to the gym. Just, just get your clothes out the night before. Put your clothes on. Get your sports drink ready the night before, right? Get everything ready, coffee machine ready to roll, okay? And just then get out the door. Once you're out the door and you close the door, okay, and get yourself to the gym, you're there, right? And once you're there, you might just move in your weights a little bit. You might move slowly, but once you're there, all of a sudden the adrenaline kicks in. The same thing if it's you have to write or do a video or plan for your next coaching session, whatever it is, just start planning it. The flow will happen and by itself naturally, but you have to start.
So what comes first? This sounds like this could be kind of a chicken and an egg scenario, and maybe it's both ways depending on the situation. When it comes to getting focused and being in the zone, do you just slip into the zone and then maintain focus? Do you start getting focused first and slip into the zone? Where does it interplay between being focused and being in the zone? Does one come first all the time, or does it depend on the situation?
Sure. I mean, I think you have to start saying, I need to get this done. I'm going to force myself to get it done and then focus on getting it done. And then the flow just happens, right? So just we have to push ourselves. And I will tell you, the difference between as a entrepreneur doctor who owned his practice, I had patients at 9 a.m. I had some responsibility. And then when I'm now at home behind a computer, and as a coach, I can decide my own hours and no one's like calling me up and say, Peter, it's 9 a.m., let's get going. And I'm up way before that, but still, I have to then, I can decide what I want to do that day. I could do absolutely nothing. So it's harder. But um, that's where you have to force yourself just to get things going on.
So it sounds like journaling, just get started by doing something that's moving you closer, including eating the frog. It's simply said, but I don't think it's always simple to do. Is that what you're saying? Is just get started, journal, do a first task, send that email. Is that what you're talking about getting focused?
Yes, I mean, no one has written a book on uh, like how to just get started. You have to just get started. There's no ifs and buts about it. That'd be great to say, okay, this is how you get started. No, just sit down, have everything ready the night before. Okay, don't dilly-dally, just get it ready and go. I want to tell you a story about um the use of the phone. So years ago, I had a life coach. I was going through a divorce, and I hired a life coach who I just said, you know what? As I'm going through this, because it's a bad time in my life, I don't want it to affect my business. I still want my business to grow. So I wanted to get my practice going from 2.4 million to 3 million. And she said, well, I said, the promise is this phone thing. And she said, just get a piece of paper, write 3 million on it, tape it to the back of your phone, put it in a drawer, lock your drawer. So every time you go into that drawer, you see the number 3M. I put 3 million on it, which says like, which would you rather have? 3 million or whatever you're going to be doing on that phone right now. Right. So put the phone away. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So I
That
just,
is awesome.
yeah.
And we have covered a lot of ground in a short period of time when it comes to getting focused and getting into a flow state. Someone listening or watching loves it. There's a lot of good ideas here, whether it's reinforcing something you said or saying something you haven't touched on yet. If you were to say, if you want to do this, at least do this one thing, at least do this above all else, what would you tell people to do?
At least do this one thing.
Yep.
The one thing is to know, it sounds crazy, to know the one thing. To know the one thing, and really is that's going to cause everything else to be easier for you. There's always that one thing that makes everything else easier for you. Know that one thing and one thing in each area of your life. And you don't have to do that one thing in each area of your life every single day. Maybe just get it done in a week or 2 week period or a month period. But when it comes to your health and taking care of yourself and energy, that's the one thing that will actually put in the fuel that will drive everything else to get you motivated, get the blood pumping, get you creative, and get you to do what you need to do.
That is awesome. If people want to find you online, where's the best place or places to go?
Sure. You go to Instagram, coach_Peter Wishnie. That's Wishnie. I'm sure you'll have that written down. Or you can do drwishnie@gmail.com.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time today.
Thank you, Mark. Glad to be here.
And scene.
Thank you. That was great.